Hi, I'm Christy Blatchford, and I've just emerged from the courtroom here where Caitlan Coleman, the former Afghanistan hostage, has finished her second day in examination in chief at the criminal trial of her husband, Joshua Boyle, who was also, of course, a hostage in Afghanistan. They were abducted in October of 2012 by the Haqqani Network, which is a Taliban-affiliated group, and they were not released for 5 years. What Coleman has described is an absolutely horrific life with this man who is now 35. He's pleading not guilty to 19 criminal charges, which include numerous assaults, sexual assaults, forcible confinement, I think a criminal harassment count too. So it's a very lengthy and damning indictment. And of course, we've only heard Caitlan Coleman's account thus far, with her cross-examination likely to happen next week, starting on Monday. But it is a devastating portrait of this completely dysfunctional marriage. She specifically described a number of assaults which happened after the couple was returned to Canada in October of 2017. You'll remember all the publicity. I think they did meet at one point with Prime Minister Trudeau. They were kind of a focus of much media attention. And there's no doubt that they were both, I'm sure, badly damaged by the experience there. By her account, what Boyle attempted to do was to recreate in Canada, in an Ottawa hotel room and later in an Ottawa apartment not very far from here, he attempted to recreate the conditions of their captivity. Caitlan Coleman says that in the last half of the captivity, what had been just verbal and emotional abuse became physical. In other words, while they were still being held prisoner, he was beating her and biting her and punishing her. And once they got back to Canada in private, he was doing, she says, the very same things. He was beating her, trying to sexually assault her, rape her anally, biting her, hitting her, spanking her. He had two forms of punishment. One was what he called chastisement for alleged transgressions or failures that she'd made. In that case, he would discipline her or chastise her. And then there were the spontaneous outbursts of physical violence, she says. And I think probably the worst thing was, she said, he sent her a text, and these text messages were retrieved from her phone. It was on December 6th of 2017. And she explained that for a large portion of their captivity, they both call it or she calls it their captivity. And since being released, she said, Joshua made it clear that he considered me an unfit wife. He wasn't happy with her. And it was her duty as his wife to find women for him. So what he texted her that day was simply the words Skellington Forums. And these are fan forums of a movie character named Jack Skellington. And the fan forums are apparently populated by teenage girls who enjoy this Jack Skellington creature. And by this, Coleman says, what he was telling her to do was to go on these fan forums and scout out girls for him. I have no words.